You're listening to
Trekcast.
I think I'm gonna die.
Oh, we got an intro from
You know,
from Daniel Brennan.
you just ruined it.
Oh,
Did you
sorry.
really?
Yeah,
From who?
Daniel Brennan. That one guy.
Oh, okay, all right.
He
I
said
was gonna
four
say
of them.
we're gonna need an edit here because I
Yeah.
have an intro to do, but it's a
Okay.
gag.
All right.
It's a gag, so we'll need a hard edit here. But so we'll just pick up from just about here. You can
Okay.
cut out where Chad blew up my spot and said do the intro. All right, so 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, we have one of the listeners today. I'm going to bring on the line to participate in the show, and I thought it would only be appropriate for him to do the intro. So let me just dial him in right now. I'm texting with him right now, and he should be on the line momentarily. Welcome to Trekcast. I'm your guest host, Drake Bartlett. With me are Dan Lombardi, Brad Waldo, and Jaime Reyes. Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Jaime.
When did I become the Blue Beetle?
Oh man.
So obviously Blake's not here with us, but
Right.
you know, I know he's listening, and he's probably spitting out a cup of coffee right now as
Wow.
he hears that.
I love when people
So-
see that on the video show.
the gag is obviously not going to work.
No, but it's good times.
For the video feed, but you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Good times.
Whatever. On the video feed, they'll also probably see us discussing the hard edit. That
Right. Well, probably not if I cut it out. But on the audio feed, they're going to hear Daniel Brennan's intro. So thank you for that.
Okay, cool,
So, yeah.
awesome.
So if anyone else wants to submit an audio intro, they can just send it to trekcasttng@gmail.com or chadiswrong@gmail.com.
Which apparently I'm wrong big time in this last week because I've got two. I got one email and one message on Facebook that I'm going to read.
Oh, good,
in
because I don't have
my
any
feedback
feedback.
section. Yeah, in my feedback section. So
Yeah.
quite hilarious.
Nice.
All right, so let's get going right into the news.
All right. So our first news story is kind of a pretty cool news story. It's going to be making the rounds. It actually just broke this morning from the
Oh,
Hollywood
cool.
Reporter. Yeah. So we're learning a little bit more about the Picard show. We're even learning where the opening music is going to come from. So
Really?
apparently, yeah.
Oh,
So apparently back in 1989, Prince was originally commissioned to do the soundtrack for The Undiscovered Country. And this is after doing Batman 89,
yep.
right? So he
Yep.
started doing that. So after he died, there's that big vault of music,
Mhm.
and they found those original tracks. So they're going to use some of those tracks to do the Picard show. So
Oh,
that'll
wow.
be kind of cool. We'll have Prince. And you know what? April Fools. So
I was going, what? What? I'm sitting here going, what the
Yeah.
hell?
yeah.
I could see Chad, your face like changed
Yeah.
color during
Yeah.
the course of that news story.
Do you not want Prince in Star Trek?
I mean,
No,
who wouldn't
Trek.
want Prince doing Star Trek?
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, Star Trek.
Star
Right.
Trek. Star
Prince
Trek.
and Picard, they go together.
Oh man,
That's awesome. When did you come up with that? Just now?
Just now,
that's pretty good.
I was putting it
That's
together.
Good. You really
I was like,
sold
I gotta
that
look
hard.
up when the movies came out. All right, what movie came out around then? And yeah.
That's
That's pretty
good.
good.
All right. So
I mean-
let me do the real news stories, not the fake news.
We should throw a fake one in every once in a while, but not let anybody know and see if they can figure that out.
Oh God, no, we don't want to be those people.
Don't do that. You don't want to start
No,
a war.
exactly. So, first news story comes from bleedingcool.com. Star Trek Online is celebrating First Contact Day next week. So, I don't know if you guys remember, but April 5th
Oh,
is
yeah.
First Contact Day.
Yeah.
So, Star Trek Online is going to be doing some stuff to celebrate. They're even going to have an in-game recreation of the humans and Vulcans meeting for the first time. And you can witness that at the Zephram Cochrane Memorial and Historical Museum in the game. That'll be on April 4th at 8 a.m. Pacific and April 11th, 10 a.m. Pacific. You can play the game online, Xbox One, PS4, that kind of stuff. There's also going to be in-game goodies that players can get. And apparently there's going to be a scavenger hunt similar to what Zephram Cochrane went through to create his ship, the Phoenix. So that'll be cool. Yeah. Do any of you guys play Star Trek Online?
I bought a lifetime subscription years ago when it first came out.
Yeah.
And I haven't played it since my son was born.
Nice.
Because it's just,
And how old is he now?
He's 6.
Yeah, there you go.
He's going to be 7 in October.
Yeah.
And it's hard to play an MMORPG without totally immersing yourself in it for hours at a time.
Yeah.
So, with a little one in the house, and you know what? I don't even have a desktop computer anymore. So it's always in the back of my mind that, hey, I got to get a new computer. And when I do, I'll boot up Star Trek Online, and all my guys should still be there. I had an Admiral. I leveled the character up all the way. I mean, I'm sure they raised the tier at some point in the last 6 years.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, don't go and buy a computer. Instead, get yourself a PS4 and get the VR headset, and then go ahead and add in Star Trek Bridge Crew, and then the 3 of us can do that together. That'd be awesome.
Oh, I gotta get a PS4 then.
I gotta get the VR.
Yeah.
I still have a Wii, so
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
We still have one too, the original Wii,
Yeah.
just for Mario Kart. That's all we ever play on. It's Mario Kart.
The only one game that matters.
Pretty much.
Mario, Donkey Kong. I got a couple of the Lego games for my son. He likes them.
So the next news story comes from Cinema Blend, and the headline reads, Space Jam 2 just added Star Trek Discovery Star. So Sonequa Martin Green is in final negotiations to join Space Jam 2. The movie is being produced by LeBron James, and according to Variety, Sonequa will be playing LeBron's wife in the film.
LeBron's wife, Steve.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know how she got that role? Right?
How's that?
LeBron saw the advanced screening of this last week's disco episode where she was sitting on the cot going, what?
Yeah.
For 20 minutes and said, oh, I want her as my wife.
Yeah. I can put some Looney Tunes around that, and there we go. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So that'll be cool.
You want to hear something funny?
What?
It's only been out like 20 years, but I've never seen Space Jam. Not once.
Oh,
I'm more of a Mighty Ducks fan, so
I've never seen that either.
Oh, that one's great.
One interesting fact I do know about Space Jam: the original promotional website for the movie is still up and running and unchanged from.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's great.
That's interesting.
That's great. So we don't have a release date yet for Space Jam 2. Sounds like they're still in the early rounds of getting it going. They're hoping to get it into theaters by 2021, but we'll see. And yeah, exactly. And the last news story comes from TVWeek.com. 2 shows with connections to the original series Star Trek are moving forward. So, History just announced this week that it's making orders for a new nonfiction series called Explain, which is the working title, and is executive produced by William Shatner. And then also, they picked up a second season of In Search Of, which was originally hosted by Leonard Nimoy back in the day, in the 70s and 80s, and now is hosted and produced by Zachary Quinto. So
I couldn't watch that.
No?
I watched the first episode and I was like, what the
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
I
I
haven't-
tried watching the
seen it.
second. I've tried watching the second episode probably 4 different times. I might have gotten 15 minutes into it at this point. I have them all DVR'd.
Yeah.
They're almost unwatchable.
What's
I
wrong
mean,
with them?
they're so. Okay, so episode 1 with Zachary Quinto has him going and talking to these different guys about, aliens are real. These people all think aliens are real. They all have abduction stories,
Oh yeah.
and that's all great. That's all fine. It's cool. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
But he's so it's so dry.
Oh really?
Oh, it's so dry. It's so dry. And he acts as if like you can tell he's acting as if he's interested, and he's not.
He's not interested. Yeah.
You know what's weird about Zachary Quinto? I'm going to be honest and tell you that I have seen him play exactly 2 characters: Siler on
Yep.
Heroes,
Yep.
and Spock.
Mhm.
Spock is pretty much emotionless except for the occasional anger,
Right.
and Siler was just like a lunatic. So I don't know if he possesses the acting ability to pull off any other emotions. I just don't know. He might be a great actor, but I don't know. I've never seen Zachary Quinto laugh. I've never seen him, smile other than I'm about to kill you smile.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you feel like when you're watching this show and he does smile. It's kind of like, that's a little creepy.
It's upsetting. Disturbing even.
Kind of. I mean, I like him. Everything I've heard him say and talk, he seems like a genuine nice guy and all of that. That show is just...
Sounds like they need to revamp it. Maybe almost come at it with a tongue-in-cheek, make fun of these people kind of thing.
Well, I don't know maybe, I don't know.
Or a little more lighthearted, something.
Well, they just need to just say, forget it. Let's just let the guys from Ancient Aliens do it.
Yeah. No kidding.
Then it would be entertaining,
Yeah. Well, that's it. I'm done with news stories. So.
All right, cool.
Chad's got some
right.
feedback.
I got some feedback. So the first one comes from my new favorite listener, Denise Mertz. And she made a post up on the Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, here's a plug for that. Go over to Facebook right now. Do a search for Trekcast, all one word. You'll find us in there. Dan will block you if you're nuts. Otherwise, he'll let you in.
Right.
And then you can see all these wonderful, great comments and stories that are going on over there, because it is about half the show, honestly. About, if you're missing out on what we're saying in the show and you're wondering why this doesn't make sense to you, then, hey, it's because you're not in the Facebook group. So anyway.
Yeah, if you heard the intro and you're like, who the hell is Drake Bartlett?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
Exactly.
you need to head over to the Facebook group.
Yep, you're missing it. So anyway, Denise Mertz, my new favorite listener, she writes, listening to every podcast every time. I'm so going to chadiswrong.com, which that's not the email address, Denise. It's chadiswrong@gmail.com.
No, she's making a website, chadiswrong.com.
That's
she's building it. She's building it right now.
She's building a website. Because I'm going to go over there and give him a piece of my email smite. Then 30 seconds later, wait, stop making sense. I'm trying to concentrate on your bad soundbite opinion. Stop. All is well. Great podcast. Wait, no, wrong on so many levels. Okay, never mind. This is your podcast to me. Not sure if I love it or need meds to listen to it. In which case, my response, Denise, is, you sound like the description my wife gave to her friends after first meeting me. Okay. So that was our first one. That's a great description. I shared that with my wife, and she laughed hard, just about as hard as I did. And I've read it about 10 times, and I still laugh. The other little feedback we got is from James Hanna, a newer listener. And let's see, where's his first response at? Hey, just wanted to say, first off, that I enjoy the show. I listen to it on my way to work. I love that it's unpredictable. Also for Chad, who keeps going on and on about not knowing who Discovery's chief engineer is. Just go to StarTrek.com. It will tell you. I've attached a picture to show you. If it's already seen or been sent by someone else, color me stupid or ignore me. Sincerely, Jim Hanna, captain of the USS Chancellor, NCC 3333. Okay. And he
So
did
who
put
is
a
it?
thing on there, and it says Paul Stamets is the chief engineer, which makes no effing sense. He's not in engineering. He's got his own lab. And at one point, Tilly tries to move him to like some other place outside of that lab. I mean, the chief engineer wouldn't get shuttled around like that. That doesn't make
He
sense.
was
So,
no. At the time of that scene, he was leaving the ship. That's why they were going to move him. He was leaving. She was leaving that post. So I think it was that he was no longer going to be the chief engineer, and that's why you need to move your stuff out of here because we got other stuff going on.
yeah, but wouldn't the chief engineer be posted in, I don't know, engineering?
Well, remember the spore drive was their primary drive the first season.
Mm.
And they only kind of took it offline towards the end of the first season.
Yeah, but that's their method of propulsion, not their energy source. I mean,
doesn't the chief engineer mainly handle the engines or the power?
All of it. It's engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah, chief engineer basically supervises all of the mechanical operations of the
I don't
ship.
know, man. Paul does what he wants.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Paul does what he wants.
No.
So I emailed James that back, and I said, "What the heck? That makes no sense." And then he came back and he said, "Hey, it's Discovery. Who knows what the hell they're doing?"
Yeah.
But then he goes, "Also wanted to mention how I felt as happy as you at the idea of killing Burnham during that scene with the Red Angel. Terrible character, and how exciting it is to know we're going to be dealing with 2 members of the Burnham family now. Can't wait."
Mm-hmm.
That was obviously from our last episode, so pretty good.
That's great.
Thank you guys for making comments, either writing into the show or posting up on the Facebook group. We're having a lot of fun, so we appreciate it. That is the feedback.
Yep.
All right.
And
We are rolling right along.
We got a
well, I think
product
Dan's
review.
got something for us.
Yeah.
So my new best friend Jaime Reyes,
See.
as you as you guys know, he reached out to Diamond Select and got us some product to review, and he got 4 items, and I told him which one was my favorite, and that's the one he sent to me. So thanks, pal. I'm super excited to get this in the mail. But this is the TOS tricorder. It is the science tricorder. They have a couple different ones. I guess they have a geological tricorder, a medical tricorder, and a science tricorder. So I'm looking at the box, and this is all the same dimensions as the one they used to film the show, to film TOS. So it's I mean, I guess technically it's a toy, but it's kind of a prop replica.
It's huge, yeah.
At the same
Big.
time. Yeah, it's pretty big. It's got this strap so you could wear it around like a handbag. I was walking around the house with it.
Yeah.
My wife said, "Do you want me to take a picture?" And I said, "No."
Why not?
Please don't. So I guess I'll just show you the features here. It's got this door that opens up here, and it's got the little hand
the little wand,
the little hand scanner, which I don't know if you could see the light on it.
Yeah,
You
that's
see
cool.
the light? Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Oh, stop. Who are you, Saru, with your super eyesight through the screen?
Yeah.
So it's got the little hand scanner, and there's a place where it sits in there, and then you close the door. Then this other door that opens up, and you can see the I don't know what this thing is called, but that's the thing that looks like it spins around on the show when they're using it. And then you have the top that opens up.
Nice. There it is.
That reveals the screen and the buttons. Now, there's a whole slew of sounds that come out of this thing, and it's kind of difficult to figure out how to engage certain sounds. Let's see. Give me a minute.
They just come up random, or?
Captain, impulse in that direction. Very weak, possibly a survivor.
So, I mean, there's voice sound effects. There's Leonard Nimoy's voice comes out of here. He says a bunch of different phrases.
Getting on the life reading, Captain. Azimuth 93 degrees, range 1570 yards. An alien metal of some kind. An alloy resistant to probe. Seems to be some disturbance coming from that cave.
So then there's another sound effect. There you go.
Oh,
That's the
scanning.
one. the standard scanning sound effect, which is really kind of cool, I guess, when you have the scanner in your hand.
Yeah.
My wife
Yeah.
my wife is pregnant. She was sitting next to me on the couch while I was playing with this thing, and I'm scanning her belly with the little thing, and I turned to my son and I said, "There appears to be another life form inside of her," and we all almost dropped it. That would be bad. We all shared a laugh. Now, one other feature that I like. Let me see if I can get it to work.
That off, yeah.
Okay, so when you hit the buttons and it goes so that the 3 lights are blinking in sequence, if you close this while it's blinking in sequence and wait a few seconds, it does one of 2 things. Okay, that was like the hailing thing. And then
Tricorder picking up very faint light readings, approximately 700 meters from here.
Nice.
and then there's one more thing that it does when you do
He
that.
used yards and meters. All that's amazing.
He doesn't care.
English and metric. He doesn't care. He can do those mental calculations in his head.
Right.
Yes, I don't know what that sound effect is. It's like a malfunctioning sound effect. Then you open it up and Spock screams about something.
Come off out of my tricorder.
That's what a rocket launcher hits him in.
Take back my own impulses and build up an overload.
That's what that sounds like.
I mean, it's a cool item.
Yeah.
I like it.
What does it retail for?
It retails for. Oh, it's still hailing me.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, my only complaint, I guess, is that it's kind of difficult to figure out how to get it to do certain things because there's only 3 buttons, 3 lights, because it's based on a design from the mid 1960s. So,
Sure.
But at the same time, I'm glad they didn't add extra buttons to it to make it not look like what it needs to look like.
Well, you want it to look authentic.
Yeah. So, I mean, the MSRP is $60. That's pretty expensive for a toy, but if someone goes to conventions and they cosplay TOS, I mean, here it is right here. If you were to get a one of those resin cast kits to build your own, I mean, you're going to pay over $100 for the kit.
Oh yeah.
And then the materials that you need to,
and you're not going to get the sound effects probably
to finish it. Yep, you're not going to get the sound effects unless you buy additional, electronics to add to it, and you have to have the skill to be able to do that sort of thing, and not everybody possesses those skills. So for $60 to grab this to play with, or put it on the shelf, or wear it, to a cosplay event, I'd say it's definitely worth it. My only gripe, and I don't know if the it's a misprint in the directions or if they changed the design at some point, but the directions talk about this thing spinning and or having that spinning effect, and no matter what I do, I can't get it to look that way. So I'm wondering if an earlier version had that feature, and maybe it's something that they removed to bring down the price point, or perhaps it was something that malfunctioned often and they just did away with that feature.
Right.
But you have the Daniel, you have the communicator, right?
I do.
Does that thing spin in the communicator? Does it have that?
No, it doesn't spin.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know then.
I don't know.
Yeah, I really like my tricorder.
Nice.
Thank you to my friend Daniel Reyes, and thank you to our friends at Diamond Select Toys.
Yeah.
Please check out their website. Lots of cool Star Trek and pop culture items over there, so go check it out.
Awesome.
They are not sponsors of the show, by the way. They just gave us that stuff for free to say, hey, have at it, have fun. So that was really cool. That was really cool.
That was cool of them. That was very cool of them.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. All right, well, before we get into the topic, I want to talk for a few minutes about Planet Comic-Con.
Yeah.
That was yesterday when I went. Still going on today, but don't have the ability to go today as well. I've got a 3-day pass, so I could go, I suppose, but timing. So yesterday was a blast. That was my first comic book convention, Comic-Con, of any convention of anything like that I'd ever been to before. That was my first time. Yep, that was my first time.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah, so I didn't really know what to expect. I was going to take my daughter Isabella with me, and she was going to dress up. She did, as the Bright Bomber from Fortnite, one of her favorite characters. That's who her character is in the game. So it's basically her Halloween costume, but it's pretty cute.
Mm-hmm.
And then my nephew Cash, my sister's twin boys, Cash and Colin. Cash wanted to go because he loves Marvel and everything else on that side of it. So he wanted to go and see what he could see there and hang out with us, and that was great. Colin did not want to go, but so it was going to be the three of us, and then my wife at the last minute decided to go. So all four of us are driving down there. Kind of wanted to get there as close to 10 o'clock when it opened up as possible, just because I had a specific booth I wanted to go and see. There's another Star Trek podcast that's right here out of like the Kansas City area called Red Shirts and Runabouts.
Oh, yeah. I remember you mentioned them.
Yeah, and Derek was in booth C78 along with his wife, Siren Ray, who's a cosplayer. And so I wanted to kind of go in there and say hi and meet him face-to-face for the first time. Because we've talked on and off about either having him on or me going on his, one way or the other, back and forth. So, and he's got a whole network of shows. He's got about five different podcasts that they do on his Heroes podcast network. So,
cool.
One of them is about Marvel specifically. So I wanted Cash to be able to meet these folks too at their booth with all their Marvel stuff that they do. So we get down there late, and the line outside, it's like 30 degrees. It's sleeting and raining at the same time. So which is why I didn't wear my disco short sleeve T-shirt because I'd been freezing cold. So the line is basically from the entrance to Bartle Hall in Kansas City, and the end of it, that's where it starts, and the end of it's in Omaha, Nebraska. It's about how long it was. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. So thankfully,
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, thankfully the kids and the wife did not have passes yet. So they were able to walk right inside up to the box office where I dropped them off at and get their tickets. And then I went and found a parking spot and ran in and was able to go and get my quote unquote press pass, which wasn't exactly a press pass.
No?
No, it wasn't. So that kind of disappointed me a little bit. But they still gave me I argued basically with the people in the press room. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm not going to go stand outside for 3 hours so I can spend 2 hours. And, that's not going to happen. I got my wife and the kids here with me. I can't do that. What can we do? What can we do? So,
well, what was it if it wasn't a press pass?
They basically said it was a free pass that we awarded you as if you're a contest winner, even though you didn't sign up for a contest and you just emailed us. That's basically what they did. It's weird. Lame. I don't know what they did that. Yeah, it's kind of lame. So
sounds like somebody messed up.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody messed up. So I basically stood there in their press room and just kind of, without being argumentative, I was just my normal aggressive self, and I wasn't going to leave there until someone just gave me a strap. I could just walk in for my 2 or 3 hours. I was
you fought for your right for free stuff.
I did. So, I pushed, and finally the head guy was like, whatever, I don't care. Take this 3-day pass, get the heck out of here.
Winner!
I was a Ferengi, you bet. Oh yeah. I did not take no for an answer. I was like, I'm not going to go stand out there while they're already in here. This doesn't happen. Paid $100 for the three of them to get in. Come on.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so that was all fine. We get in. I miss Derek's. He had a panel at noon, a Star Trek panel in one of the halls that he hosted, and I missed that because we were kind of running late and all this other BS of getting in. But so that's too bad. But anyway, the rest of it was packed. I mean, I knew there was going to be a lot of people there. I just didn't know that there was going to be that many people there. Everywhere we went throughout that whole place, and Bartle Hall is huge. If most people outside of Kansas City don't know what Bartle Hall Convention Center is, but
it's named after Drake Bartlett, right? Bartlett Hall.
Yeah, exactly. It's huge, and it's where they host the auto show, and it's filled with cars, and hundreds of thousands of people go through it in a 3-4 day period. Well, even more people were at Planet Comic-Con. It was totally packed, shoulder to shoulder, everywhere you walked. I was very thankful my wife was there because I would not have been able to keep a hold of both kids at the same time with how packed it was. The only time you could walk freely around anybody is because everybody was trying to get around one of the high-end cosplayers that everybody's taking photos with, and that was about it. I mean, it was totally packed, but it was great. There was so much stuff there. It was just amazing.
Have you with one of those backpacks with the leash on it?
No, I don't do that. No, I put my left hand right on her shoulder, kind of up next to her neck, and I guide her and move her around that way, No,
I'm saying that you would have the backpack.
Yeah, I would have the backpack. Yeah, no. I don't do that strap thing. That's Doesn't seem right to me, but anyway.
No.
So, but no, it was packed. It was great. And one of the fun things I discovered is, have you guys ever heard of Dayton Ward before? He's an author.
Yes.
He writes a lot of different books, a lot of Star Trek books, a lot of Star Trek comics, along with another guy, Kevin. And I think that guy's last name, because I hadn't heard of Kevin before, but I've heard of Dayton. And I didn't get to meet Dayton, but I did get to meet Kevin Domore. I didn't get to meet Dayton, but Dayton lives right here in Lee Summit, my hometown. He's like 3.5 miles from my house.
Oh,
so
wow.
So in talking to Kevin, I got this nice little thing here, big compendium of a whole bunch of different comics that they did all together. It's real thick.
Oh, that's cool.
Kevin signed it. The artist, one of the artists, Megan Levy, signed it as well. Got to meet her. She's phenomenal. She was doing freehand artwork there. My daughter was just enrapted, just watching her just draw because it just looked perfect. And she was just free, just going to town on this character. It was great. So at any rate, they agreed that at some point here in the next month or two, whenever we can kind of do it, we'll sit down and have a little interview with him. He's right here in my hometown, so we'll sit down and interview, and we'll have it on the show. This is a pretty prominent Star Trek writer for books anyway, books and comics, along with Kevin, and maybe that'll lead into being able to talk with Megan at some point too. That'd be great. But like I've told you guys before, for me, going to a convention like that for me is more about being able to talk to the creators. The guys behind the camera, not so much the actors. There's only a few actors or actresses I'd really care to meet for any TV shows ever. William Shatner being one of them, which I did not get to see William Shatner. He spoke on Friday night, and apparently he was there on Friday, but not on Saturday. I thought he was supposed to be there Saturday too. Maybe he was, and I missed it. I don't know. It was so crazy and hectic.
He travels a lot. He's coming to my town pretty soon too.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, he's doing this tour of screenings of the Wrath of Khan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I went into this thing with kind of the hopes of, going around and talking to people and recording and doing some funny things like that. That was not feasible at all. It was just too loud, too crowded. And I mean, we probably only talked to creators at maybe 5 different booths in 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
yeah.
The funniest moment was we went over to a 5-hour energy, had this gigantic booth on one end of the whole hall, and they had a basketball goal set up for a game you could play and win. They had a thing where you kick a soccer ball into a thing you could win. And of course, I heard these people walking by going, "What the heck is sports doing at a Comic-Con?"
Right.
But so Cash and I wanted to make a beeline for that because that looked like fun. And sure enough, on the basketball thing, it was swiveling back and forth. So it wasn't like just straight up and down, shoot the basketball goals, moving. So you get as many shots as you can in 15 seconds.
How many touchdowns did Cash make?
Cash got 1 touchdown. I got 2 field goals. I got 0 field goals. But Bella,
he struck out.
Yeah, but Bella, my little 11-year-old girl who's short, she's short for her age.
Yeah.
She got 3.
Nice.
Swooshes, no rims, no backboard, no nothing. I was so impressed. I was like, holy
Grand slam.
I mean, she was just amazing. They gave her a free pair of earbuds and everything. It was amazing. It was awesome. So it was cool.
So anyway, when are you going to get her a hoop and make her practice all the time and get her to go
she plays basketball already.
Yeah.
Yeah, she plays. We got a hoop out front.
Okay.
So she plays basketball already. But I was really surprised. I mean, it's way up there. It's moving, all that. I kind of figured she'll make 1 like Cash did. But no, 1, 2, 3 right in a row. Boom, boom, boom.
Nice.
Holy crap. So
nice.
It was impressive. So that was fun. But we got a couple different photos, a couple different pics. We saw the big Cobra command station there that
we saw that.
That was pretty slick. There was a lot there.
My favorite was Sergeant Slaughter with the wife beater underneath. That was good.
Yeah. It was all Cobra. There was no G.I. Joe. It was all Cobra.
Yeah.
So there was no one.
Well, they're recruiting
G.I. Joe stuff. So none of the good guys. It was all Cobra. So that was kind of cool. And then there was a group of people going around in both male and female Ghostbuster groups of 4.
Oh, nice.
Which was kind of cool to see. And at one point we saw them kind of come together and mess around and stuff. So I was too far away to get photos of that when it happened. I wish I could have, but oh well.
There's a huge network of Ghostbuster cosplayers all over the country.
Yeah,
they're all over the place.
They were really well done. I mean, they looked like they came right off the movie set. The one guy even had a cigarette hanging from his mouth that looked real, even though you could tell there was ashes on the end. It weren't falling off. It wasn't lit.
Yeah.
You know, but it looked real. It was really well done. It looked
Yeah.
just like Dan Aykroyd. So, and then
That's
there was
funny.
over in the Marvel section, they had a guy that was dressed up like Stan Lee, and he looked just like Stan Lee. Kind of made me
That's
sad
cool.
a little bit. I loved it. I thought it was awesome, but it also kind of made me a little sad, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
oh yeah.
same, you know, jacket. You kind of saw him, that tan colored jacket. You see him in the
Yeah.
pants once in a while, and the white shoes. You know, I mean, it was a spot on impersonation of him. So it was pretty cool. All in all, it was a blast. I had a lot of fun. There's a lot of things I would do differently next time around.
Mhm.
Both in the timing as well as kind of planning some things out so I could kind of hit certain things a little better. But it was a blast. It was a blast. So
Cool.
Yeah, some of those things are so big that you need the 3 days. You need to
yeah,
take
you
the
really do.
weekend.
Yeah, and that becomes very expensive. I mean, geez.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, it is what it is. You do it once a year kind of thing, and you kind of plan for it, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make sure we plan for it next. Oh, and the funniest thing of the whole deal, right? So Cash wants to come, but Colum doesn't. Okay, because Colum's very much a sports fanatic, and he'll
Right.
go to some of the Marvel movies with us because you know it's Marvel. It's kind of cool. Everybody talks about it, but he's not a movie kind of kid at all. He just doesn't get movies. He'd rather watch a game. He'd rather watch baseball or soccer or football or hockey, or I think he'd probably even rather watch curling than watch anything else on TV. So he's that much into sports. He's just a sports fanatic, and he knows all these stats too. He's 12, but he knows all these stats that it's like, how do you know that? Like, I don't even know that. So, but it's cool. So he decides not to go. And instead, he has to help my sister kind of clean out the garage, right?
Right.
And so while we're there, I can see Cash kind of like eyeing some of these cosplayers. Yeah, I'm hurrying up.
All right.
I can see him kind of eyeing some of these cosplayers, you know, because some of the female cosplayers they don't really cover every single bit of their body they probably ought to.
You learned about girls that day.
Well, some of them are on the clock.
Yeah.
Some of those cosplayers are not real cosplayers. They're
Yeah.
actresses that are hired to
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
pose for pictures with fanboys.
Yep.
So he gets back and he tells Colum all about it, and Colum goes, "Wait a minute, there were women, there were females there, and they were
Nice.
good looking." Oh man, I said
You missed out.
I said that's the last time you don't go somewhere with Uncle Chad, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
That was pretty good. All in all, a lot of fun. They
Yeah.
put on a hell of a show there. It's huge. So
Yeah.
with all of that, let's move right into our topic.
So, Jen, are you going to do the breakdown of the episode?
I guess I can. I've become
Yeah.
kind of the de facto to do that, haven't I?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Do I do a good job of it or something? Is that why, or is it just
I
because
think
you
just
guys
'cause you do
listen
it.
to me ramble?
I think just because you do it.
You're
Okay.
you're passionate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get a little heated, get a little worked up. Okay, so so we're getting into Discovery's last episode, Perpetual Infinity, I believe was the title. I don't have anything in front of me, so I can't recall if that's the exact title or not. But you know, shoot me down if I'm wrong. So
Close enough.
close enough, right? Perpetual something, perpetual motion. That's what it was. We were making steam engines. So the whole thing starts off with didn't the first opening of it kind of start off with a flashback to the family on that outpost station where they're doing their research?
Yeah, when the Klingons attacked.
Yeah, when the Klingons attacked. Yeah, I think that's the kind of the first little flashback.
Yeah.
And we see Burnham interacting with her mom and dad, kind of for the first time. That's kind of the first time we've seen a flashback like that. Or have we seen these two actors before as her mom and dad? I didn't think so.
No, I don't think so.
We
I think
have.
that was it.
Yeah.
So this is our first time actually seeing him in that setting, you know, the family at home kind of setting. And I kind of forgotten how old Burnham was when her parents died. She wasn't like a little kid. She was, 12, 13, something like that?
Not like 10 or 11, but
Yeah. Looks
old enough to know.
Old enough to know. Old enough to remember things, right? So
Right.
I'd kind of forgotten about that a little bit. But nothing horrific is shown, kind of like how it's been portrayed before, like her, because it's always been portrayed before, like she was hidden in a closet when the attack happened and something horrific happened to both her mom and dad. Well, obviously they died, so that's horrific, but they always made it seem a little darker than just that. In this particular portrayal, obviously, the dad dies pretty fast in phaser fire, and we see the mom get away in the suit. And when she does her little jump to try to fix things, she's actually telling Burnham out loud, "It's okay, honey. I'm going to jump back an hour and fix all of this."
Yeah.
Burnham's just, erased that from her mind for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So, which is fine. I can understand that. Traumatic experiences, you forget certain details. That's fine. That's understandable. But when she does her jump, she doesn't go an hour back. She goes 950 years into the future, and boom, has no idea where she's at.
Right.
And before we see that, I think is when Michael wakes up in sickbay. Then does her little looking around. I can't believe it. What? No, that can't be my mom. That's got to be future me sitting somewhere. But no, it's her mom. They have to tell her that. And then she gets the log from Spock, which Spock never misses a chance to make a slight dig at his sister, does he?
No.
I
no.
see you're your normal self. I mean, what a child. I mean, he just, and of course,
Yeah.
Pike gets a little smirk on his face from it, right? Like at some point, Pike's got
Yeah,
to be
Pike's like, these two.
yeah, if I'm captain and I'm hearing these two going back and forth, at some point I'm going to put up these kids in their place, right? And say,
Yeah.
Spock, that's not necessary.
Yeah, you two knock it off.
You just killed her and made her die because you were holding everybody else at gunpoint. All right, give her a break.
You know what I want to see? I want to see a future episode where they're doing that in a shuttlecraft while Pike is driving, and have him say, "If I have to come back there,
Yes, yes. But I have to pull this shuttlecraft
I will
over and separate you two.
I will come about. I will come about."
That's pretty much what's going to have to happen at some point. I mean, it's ridiculous with these two. So he never misses a chance to get a dig. But anyway, he gives her the logs. She starts to review the logs of everything her mom's gone through. And of course, her mom knows all about Control and what Control's trying to do. And somehow it comes out during the show, I forget where, that she has no clue what the red lights are.
Yeah.
She doesn't know. And I think that's true. I don't think she's trying to hide that fact. I think she honestly doesn't know what the red lights are.
Yeah, because she's just popping in and out. She has
no clue. So, and clearly her dad's actually dead.
Well, just so you know, that doesn't mean it's not her. That means it's her from a later time period.
Yeah.
From her point of view, she hasn't done that yet.
Right.
But I don't know, my head hurts.
Yeah, it's all convoluted. It's totally convoluted. So, and the big thing about this, well, not the big thing. One of the things about this episode that really instantly is like, oh crap. I thought Leland died at the end during the last episode prior to this.
No, he just got assimilated.
He just got.
That's right.
Yeah, he got a needle to the eye. I thought he was dead.
He's a Borg king.
But no, he's alive. And somehow, not only is he alive, but he strapped himself into the chair.
Oh, yeah.
How did he get into the chair and strapped in there?
Huh.
Who dragged him into that room and strapped him into the chair and walked off so that Control could, inject those probes into him?
The holograms.
Leland's into some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a standing appointment to be in that chair once a week.
Yeah.
I guess I just have to kind of wash this away because I don't know how he gets from the floor to there.
So the holograms that Control can project, they are not solid holograms. They are only projections.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So which is why Control needs a body.
Yep.
Okay.
And they got hit with the nanites, the Borg nanites.
Yeah.
This is where the technology level in this show has started to go too far out. I don't care if the Control AI is essentially from the future and has future knowledge or whatever else, but how does it make all that? It's a little too far out. You're getting the technology a little too ahead of your skis. So
A little bit.
that's my 2 cents on that. But whatever. You kind of just, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So he gets injected with the probes. Now he's actually being controlled by Control, and he becomes a part of it of the AI. Right. I think Philip Bajor, he goes right into the bridge after all that happens on his Section 31 ship and starts barking out orders, and he's totally acting not quite like himself. And Giorgio picks up on it instantly. Tyler doesn't. He's just questions everything because he's a jerk and he doesn't take orders from anybody unless someone finally says go do it or I kill you. It's okay, fine, I'll go do it.
I'm guessing you don't like Tyler.
I don't like Ash. I don't like Tyvoke at all. So, and I think the way they've done his whole character with he's Ash Tyler, he's Voke, he's neither, he's one, he's the other. He goes back and they just muddled the shit out of that too. So anyway, he convinces Tyler to go over to the Discovery and create it, and that's basically it's espionage on your own Federation ship, right? So
Yeah, they said that. Yeah.
Tyler's like, okay, fine, I'll go do it. And Giorgio's knows something's up. She's way too smart, way too manipulating. And now all of a sudden she can't manipulate Leland and she can't assert herself over him instantly. He's like not a whipped puppy anymore. Like she senses that immediately that something's off.
Yeah.
And you can see it in her acting. I mean, Michelle Yeoh is just fantastic. I know sometimes the way she pronounces words and things kind of irritates me, but it's who she is, I guess. But she's a fantastic actress. I love every scene that she's in. So, and the way that that whole scene comes off basically with when she's talking to Leland, she doesn't really say much and she doesn't really do much, but she conveys so much with these slight little contortions of her face in those scenes. So she knows. She's gotten that across to the viewer without doing anything almost. It's fantastic. So anyway, what's the next scene that happens after that basically?
Isn't that right when Burnham decides I'm gonna go down there and talk to my mom no matter what?
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing about that really irritates me, and they do this a lot on this show, right? They set it up as in, oh, we've only got about an hour until nature wins and the gravitational waves pull her back into her time frame. We can't keep her there indefinitely. We don't have enough power. Tilly's trying to explain to everybody on the bridge, and of course she keeps getting cut off, which is kind of funny. The looks on her face when she gets cut off by Pike is great, or Saru. Is funny. And then, of course, Stamets walks onto the bridge to say the same thing, and Pike shuts him down immediately. That was pretty funny as well. But they've got this. We've got an hour now. So they do this where they set up these timed things, and they specifically say we only have so much time. But yet, cut to the next scene. We're all going to go sit and stand calmly in Pike's ready room, and we're going to talk about our feelings for 20 minutes. That's what they do. So they're in the ready room now, and Burnham's trying to argue. No, I'm going down there to talk to her. No, I'm going down there to talk to her. Period. And it's like everybody's got to tell her no like 6 times. And of course, all of a sudden, Culber's down on the surface and is like, no, she's awake now. She's ready to talk. She's asking for you, Captain Pike, but not you, Michael. That settles it at that point. So Pike beams down to talk to her. And of course, that's when she starts to kind of open up and say, look, it's all control. You guys probably already know this or figured it out. We have as the audience. I don't know if Pike has at this point, but you got to erase all the data from the sphere, period. So that episode with the sphere kind of felt like an odd, weird diversion when it happened. When we watched that, it was like, oh, this is kind of an out of the blue episode. Interesting, great. Boy, they have used that almost every episode since as subplot until now. It's the major portion of it. We kind of knew that was coming with Arium and how she got infected. She was infected by control. We didn't know if that was being infected by the sphere or not. But that sphere episode has a much bigger meaning now than anything else, than what it had before until this episode.
Right.
So of course they got to erase the data. They try to. Burnham tries to. They can't. It's too smart. It's not letting the data get erased for whatever reason, which in my mind was, okay, quarantine it onto a physical hard drive, take the hard drive out of the ship and take a phaser to it. I mean, it's stored somewhere, right? So,
right.
But anyway, they can't do that. Tyler's there trying to copy data. And Giorgio goes down to the surface while Pike is talking to her, and she puts that little deal on there to copy the data as well.
Yeah, her space thumb drive.
It was a skimming device.
Skimming device, yeah. I think she decides to do that because she doesn't want Leland to go and do it.
Yeah.
I think it's something. I don't know if that doesn't happen in the show, but just from a plot standpoint, the way they set that up, I think the reason why Giorgio would want to go and do that herself is because she already doesn't trust what Leland's doing. Thinks that there's something up, which of course there is. So
right.
Nobody's wanting to come right out and question it at the beginning, but Pike's down the surface. She's questioning Burnham's mom. And then at some point, we learn about the control stuff. But then at some point, Burnham comes down to the surface and starts this whole conversation with her mother as well. So, and her mom is not exactly nice to her. Right? I mean, I wasn't really sure how to take that whole scene with her mom. Her mom was like, no, it's not going to happen. I've already written you off. That's pretty much what her mom tells her. I don't know if that's a coping mechanism that she's trying to use for herself or for Michael. It didn't come off real well to me.
So I only watched this once, and it was last night, and I was half asleep because, you know,
Because it was late.
it was late, and I don't hide the fact that this is not my favorite.
It's not your favorite Star Trek.
I was doing homework for the show today,
Right.
but I'm kind of confused at this point. She has this time travel device, this suit. She can travel back in time. Can she not affect things around her?
I mean, that's
While
what she's
she's
trying to
trapped in?
do, right?
So Chad's shaking his head.
It doesn't appear that she can, because, well, she says over and over again, she's tried so many different times to try to change the future, and nothing has ever changed that. Nothing she's ever done has changed the future, including getting the sphere moved into Discovery's path. She was
Okay.
responsible for moving the sphere into Discovery's path. So
That
she
being
did
said,
change things, but it still had the same result.
okay. So that being said, when Michael's strapped into the chair, choking to death, why did she even bother coming back in time to try and rescue her? If she can't affect change in other time frames, so I mean, this is I don't
It's
get
not
this.
that she can't.
And
It's not that she can't affect change. It's that any changes she does, the results are still the same. Control takes over and wipes everything out 600 years from Michael Burnham's timeline.
Okay, but she has a freaking time machine.
Yeah.
If you know that Control evolves into this thing, go back in time to some point before Control becomes self-aware, becomes a problem, and go to that Section 31 facility and blow it to shit. Just blow it up.
Well, you can argue that they've done that. They did that 2 episodes ago when they blew up the Section 31 headquarters, and it hasn't gotten them anywhere.
It helps me thinking about Control as Ultron, and you got to kill every possible version of Ultron.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or else, which
Once,
is
lame. But at the same time, you have a time machine. You go back to before Ultron came online, okay, and you destroy the prototype, and you kill the guy who built it, and you destroy his notes, and you blow up the building that it was in. It's a time, and if it doesn't work, you go back a day earlier and do it again.
Well, that's what we're seeing.
They write themselves into these corners.
No, it's not a corner. I get what you're saying, and I understand that. But what's going on here is that that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing her attempts to wipe this thing out. She hasn't figured out the very next step to do, because every time she gets another step to wipe it out, that's when something else changes, right? And so I think what they'll probably wind up coming back and showing us is that these red dots are some version of Control in the future, knowing what she's doing, and is tagging along just like it has up every other time up until now, and it's changed things on her. So she's fighting an AI, an advanced artificial intelligence, 600 years in the future from where they're at right now. Regardless of the fact that she's 350 years farther ahead than it, doesn't matter. There's nothing there. It's already won. Now, why it can't find her in the future and just kill her right there and stop the whole thing, I don't get either. That's probably a bigger painted corner than anything else. But what we're seeing is we're right in the middle of all of her attempts to fix it. And so that's why it's like frustrating for us, because we're like, what the hell? Just go back before it starts and kill it. Well, that's what she's done. She's gone. She tried to put the sphere in Discovery's path before anybody else found it. Obviously, the Control found it at some point in the future. Well, she changed that now. Now Discovery found it. Okay, well, now that Discovery has it, the AI knows that Discovery has it and is now changing things up to go and try to get it off of Discovery, right? And so we're kind of in the middle of this mash, of this fight back and forth between Burnham's mom and the artificial intelligence. And it is messy, and they've made all kinds of things convoluted as all hell. Getting back to the timeline thing, I mean, it's a different timeline every time she jumps in and affects one small change, regardless of the outcome still the same. It's a different timeline every single time she does it. So, it's very convoluted. I get that part. But we're kind of in the midst of it. All things being said, we get down to the end of the show. Burnham's mom jumps back into the future, correct? At the very end.
Well, she doesn't jump. She gets pulled
Sucked
back,
back in, yeah.
which I don't understand either. Why is she being pulled back to that period in time? I mean,
It's like an anchor point or something. Is what they
Yeah,
yeah, I
she's
know,
probably
but it
stupid.
seems
dumb,
like a made.
but-
Yeah,
It's
they
a made
explain
up.
it, but it is stupid. Yeah.
It's a made up thing that they came up with, and you know, if you have a time machine and for whatever reason you are anchored to a certain point of time that you must return to at a certain point, one would think that would be your original time frame, not the first one that you jumped to. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, that's how they wrote it. So reasons.
For
Well,
reasons and writing.
Yeah, so I think the big overarching reason for it is because it allows them to tell some stories, basically. You know, there's a reason why she goes somewhere, can't do very much, only does one or two little things. It's why it looks like she's just being manipulative of little things here and there and then leaving real fast, right? Because she can't. She only has a limited amount of time. So that's kind of the whole setup for it. So whatever, that's fine. I get it. That's cool. I could probably point to 50 million times in TNG and DS9 where they've had reasons that made absolutely no sense, but if they weren't there, you couldn't tell the story. So I get that. So yes, does she get shot when she gets pulled back? Isn't she shot right before she gets pulled back in?
I thought the suit was shot.
Yeah, I thought the suit got broken or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Leland comes down to the surface, starts a firefight. Everybody's shooting him, and it does nothing because he's pumped full of nanites. You know, he's basically
which
getting a bunker.
that doesn't make sense either. I mean, it's still a human body.
Yeah. So these scenes on Esau 4, every time there's a fight going on,
4.
I know.
I love that every planet is 4. Talos 4, Esau 4.
It's all 4.
Yeah.
It's the 4th planet from somewhere. Anyway, so every one of these fight scenes though looks like a split screen cut from the Matrix. I mean, it's just everybody's wearing black. I mean, if you're not in a Starfleet uniform and you're just in your leisure clothes, it's black. If you're in your Section 31 uniforms, they're black. Unless, of course, you're Tyboke and you don't wear black. Instead, you wear a Discovery uniform. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
What? No sense. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on.
I know.
So, but there's a big fight scene there. He does shoot a blast right through the time crystal and shatters it. I do recall that happening for sure. So she can't make any more jumps. She's already made a bunch of jumps though. So we'll continue to see her making jumps, but it's not her from just then, it's her from a previous jump. So this will get even more convoluted. We have 3 more episodes to go?
I think so.
Yeah.
See, I warned you guys about Kurtzman. None of his shit makes any sense.
Yeah, it's
The Amazing Spider-Man 2,
God.
Transformer movies. This is what he does, man.
It'll all come together at some point, and they'll tie it up, but it won't make a whole lot of sense. No, I think they will. I think they'll find a way to try to tie it up. It won't make a lot of sense, but at least they'll attempt to explain it.
He's never done it at anything else. I don't give him any.
Don't give him any credence for that.
Nope, he won't do it.
That's kind of frustrating if that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
So
there was an interview with him recently where he said that he promised that all the answers will be there. I don't believe him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just the other day they were talking about how season 3 will continue to have tie-ins with the Enterprise in the original series.
Of course it will.
But yet, no Anson Mount and no Ethan Peck.
I don't know. I mean, they could not be regulars and maybe just pop up every now and then.
That's true. Or does that mean they're going to recast Kirk?
Let's do it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Just can we just get to the Picard series?
Get one of the lesser known Hemsworths, and there's your new Kirk.
There you go. Yeah. The one that married Miley.
Yeah. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Anyway,
you're not going to get Chris, but any one of the other ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
So overall, I mean, a lot happens in the episode as always, right? Mm-hmm. Was there an actual B plot other than the whole sabotage thing or the whole skimming of Data going on. There wasn't really a B plot. It was all.
I think the
related to
skimming
A
was
plot.
the B plot, and
Yeah,
talking to my mom was, with Michael was the main.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they did about all they could do with this episode, given the hole they pinned them in with
Oh yeah.
Michael's mother coming out of the suit instead of a future her, which in some ways probably would have been better. But I understand what they're doing with the character development at this point and Michael's whole issues with her mom and dad and all that stuff. So, but
You know, it could be her. Plenty of people grow up to look just like their parent.
Right.
That could be future Michael, just saying that she's Michael's mom.
Well, not really, because there's a video log of her getting into her suit and making the jump at the time when Michael's 12 and in the closet.
Yeah, I suppose.
So they've written that possibility off.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's really her mom.
Yeah.
It's not a clone or anything.
It could be
like
a
that
clone
from
of her
Control.
mom from an alternate universe where I don't know.
The whole what upsets me is when they came out originally and said the DNA scan says it's you, Michael,
Yeah.
and then it's her mom. Your DNA does not match your parents.
Yeah.
No,
It's similar,
and then
but it doesn't
Culber's
match.
Culber's like, well, your mitochondrial DNA is really close to your mother's.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Culber, where'd you get your degree? DeVry? I mean, what the?
DeVry?
Next season, we're gonna find out she has midichlorians.
Stop.
Yeah.
Well, we're already halfway there. I mean, Stamets has superhuman fungal powers.
Told you, magic blood.
Yep. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do for the next 3 episodes at this point, but
When
So,
Zorville come back?
let me ask you this: having watched this show, seen where it's going right now, you excited for Picard? Because it's the same
Hell
showrunners.
yes.
It's the
Yeah.
same group.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, look at Dan's look now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
there's a lot about Discovery to love. There's a
There
lot
is,
about
absolutely.
Discovery. There's a lot about Discovery to get like, huh? What? But I think about half of the stuff that I have a problem with Discovery wouldn't matter in a Picard series because it's set in the future, not behind things that have already happened. You won't have problems with canon. You won't have problems with technology looking too far out in front of its skis. You won't have problems with any of that kind of stuff. But if they do the same types of mistakes where we've set up this drama because something's going to happen in the next 30 minutes and it's time sensitive and holy crap, what do we do? Well, let's go over here and have a Earl Grey tea hot for 20 minutes and discuss our feelings. I'll get mad about that because that's not Picard. But then again, where was that I read that where they said that Picard was going to be dealing with mental issues?
Oh, I read that somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was supposed to get Uromatic syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Huh. I don't know. So, all right, getting back to Discovery. What was your guys' overall take of this? Because, I mean, I slammed through everything that happened in an episode really fast, and I know I'm forgetting little things here and there that happened in the episode. I know I am because I gloss over it when I do those kind of quick reviews and hits.
I remember after watching it thinking, I hope the next episodes are much better because this just felt like setup.
Every episode's a setup.
Yeah, it all feels like setup.
That's a problem with this format.
Yeah.
Okay, when you have what is it, 14 episodes or something?
Yep, 14.
Mhm.
Okay, you have 13 episodes of setup. That's
Yeah.
just the nature of the beast. That's why I'm a fan of the old format where you have you have 38 minutes of setup and 6 minutes of payoff, and then a week later you have the same thing, and maybe twice a season you have a two-parter, so you have 80 minutes of setup and 10 minutes of resolution. But this is what it's going to be. This is what TV is nowadays, and I'd like to hope that Picard's going to be different, but I know it's not. It's not. I know it's going to be 13 episodes of setup and 1 episode of payoff with maybe a couple of standalone episodes sprinkled in where the ongoing storyline is the B story for that episode.
Yeah.
But
we sometimes say, okay, it's set up, and what really is what's happening is we're getting a 14 episode long movie.
Yeah.
That has a lot of ups and downs and a lot of little details into it. And I'd much rather have that than I would the old format where here's something that happens in a total of 45, 47 minutes, and everything that happened in an episode doesn't have any consequences until 14 episodes down when we happen to refer to it again. I'm that's okay for TNG. That was that wasn't okay for Voyager. It couldn't be, right? Because your actions have consequences and you don't have anything to fall back on, i.e. the Federation, right? So I think for every show and every setup that they do for where they're going to be, what kind of area, time frame, universe that they're working in, needs to kind of keep that in mind. And I think Discovery's done that, except they're forgetting about that episodic component and they're throwing it out way too much. Like, there does need to be a little bit of give and take there. I want a little bit of a blend, not complete, 14 episode movie, and not a complete every episode's its own standalone where nothing has consequences to the next one. That's what the Orville's done. So,
but there's, there is a happy medium. I mean,
there can be, yeah, and they're not doing it.
If you look at the last few seasons of Deep Space Nine,
yep.
Okay, you had the Dominion War was the overarching story. It was the backdrop, and yes, from week to week, events affected, what happened, but there were also self-contained episodes in there. You can look back on Deep Space Nine and say, remember the one where such and such happened. You can't do that with this show. You can say, remember when she was in the chair, but you can't say, remember the one, because in my mind, it's one big long movie. There aren't episodes. There's no markers in my head to delineate when certain things happened.
That's part of how when I sit down,
they want it to be a novel with chapters.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah, because they started out as chapter 1, chapter 2. Remember that from season 1? Yeah. So that was kind of odd and clunky, and they got rid of that. They stopped calling them chapters anymore. But they did that for the first couple of episodes, then quit. But anyway, that's part of my problem when I'm sitting here trying to go through all this and give a review as we go on here, and I keep doing that. It's harder and harder for me to remember everything that happened because it's all a big mesh in my head at this point. It's all a big mesh. And I think, Voyager did that really, really well in its last couple of seasons. One of my favorite two-parters in all of Star Trek, outside of course, The Best of Both Worlds, is The Year of Hell. Wasn't that a part 1, part 2 episode? I'm pretty sure it was.
Yes.
Yeah. That was one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite two episodes in Voyager, period, The Year of Hell. I mean, because, actions need to have consequences. They really do.
Right. I think
you need to tie those things together.
Yeah. I think their best bet is, instead of treating it as one long season-long movie, maybe do it like a series of short films. Like each episodes are like a two-parter, so it's one movie, and it's just that, that way you have self-contained stories that connect together. They're sequels of each other.
Blend. Yeah, they just need to find a little bit better balance between the two. And I do recall Patrick Stewart, not to jump back into Picard here for a moment, but I do recall him saying that it's a 10-episode movie. His first season is a 10-episode movie. I do remember him saying that. So that's going to lead credence back to this whole.
Well, it's a little different though.
9 setups. It is a little different.
It's a little different in that is a character that we already know, that we know and love, that we're dying to know what has happened with him.
Right.
And honestly, they could have 10 episodes of Jean-Luc Picard painting the garage, and I would probably tune in and watch it. But, that's not Michael Burnham. That's Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. We got 3 episodes left. That was episode number 11, wasn't it?
That was, yeah.
Yeah. So we got 3 episodes left. 3 more weeks. That'll get us through the end of April. And I'll cancel my CBS subscription after that.
Yep. Me too.
And then I'll be turning on HBO to watch Game of Thrones. Anyway, so
yeah.
I don't know. I like that episode from the standpoint of they're trying to advance the storyline a little bit now. It was a setup because anytime you've got this kind of storytelling. It's always going to be a little bit of a setup until you get to some sort of resolution, and they don't want to resolve the whole thing until the end. I was surprised that we found out who the Red Angel was that fast 2 weeks ago, but whatever. So we'll see. 3 episodes left to kind of wrap this whole thing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be that.
And that'll be that. And then we say goodbye to Pike.
Yeah, and then we got another 2 weeks until an Orville comes back on. There wasn't one this week. There's not going to be one next week. There's not going to be one the week after that.
Yeah.
It's a 3-week bounce there in the middle. Kind of odd, but whatever.
Yeah.
All right, predictions for the next show. Did you guys watch or do we have anything else to cover? Oh yeah, definitely. There will be frustration.
Yeah.
More setup.
More setup.
Yeah.
More crying.
Where do they go?
More crying.
Yeah, more crying. Where do they go from here? Where do they go from here?
Magic blood.
Magic blood.
Somehow they've got to defeat Control, right?
Oh, Leland's got magic blood.
Yeah.
I saw it coursing through his veins. His dark magic blood.
Yeah.
Dark magic blood.
At
He's got
least
the
it's
dark
not
magic.
red
Dark magic.
Dark
Dark,
magic.
comma, magic blood.
magic.
Right.
Yep.
So is this show going to end with Leland being sent back in time to the past and becoming the beginning of the Borg? Is that what we're going to? Because
No, this is not the beginning of the Borg.
I don't know, man.
It's a lot more sophisticated than the Borg. I can take over a human body and get it to do whatever I want without having to put prosthetics on it. Right?
Yeah.
So,
But then they want to preserve the body, so then they put prosthetics.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, in the visions of the future, it's all these drone-looking things, and there's no,
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
an advanced enough AI would not need flesh and blood.
I'll put it to you like this: I wouldn't be surprised if they make it the Borg just because they feel like they can.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I guess, okay, why wouldn't we want it to be? I'll play devil's advocate. I don't want it to be the Borg because I think
Oh,
that's
I don't either. I'm
bullshit,
just
but why?
spitballing.
Yeah, why don't we want it to be the Borg?
I like the Borg not having an answer. It's like the Joker. How did he become the Joker? Who knows? He's just the Joker.
Yeah, it's because that's it. You never have an origin story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I guess that's pretty much it for this episode, huh?
Somebody made a post on one of the other groups that I follow that I thought was interesting, and they laid it out there, and they said it's not the Borg.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. This isn't what becomes the Borg. This AI is what turns into that, whatever that planet is that V'ger got reprogrammed on and sent back to Earth from the motion picture.
Yeah.
That almost sounds more plausible than the Borg, honestly. But
No, that wouldn't make sense though.
not
because
the same
then
content.
yeah, V'ger and this thing were both made by human beings. That doesn't. Yeah, I don't know.
He does it. Leland, at one point, when he's strapped into the chair and is being interrogated by hologram Leland,
Mm-hmm.
I almost, when I went back and we watched this the second time, I was waiting for him to say something about resistance is futile, but he doesn't. But he comes really close to saying that. He says your resistance doesn't matter, or your resistance won't resolve anything. He comes really close to saying that.
Yeah.
But
Well, they got to get the branding down.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't got branding down yet. We haven't come up with
get the
logo.
logo.
That could be misdirection. Also,
It could be misdirection, but you got to believe that the writers in the writer room thought about throwing that in there.
Oh, you know they did.
You know they did. So
yeah, they thought about it. They were like, "Let's do this." These nerds are gonna go nuts.
Exactly.
Oh, we're gonna go nuts no matter what you do, writers room. So just take that. But anyway, all right. So thumbs up, thumbs down for the episode. I give it a midway and a sideways.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to call it a thumbs down because it wasn't necessarily bad, but I don't know what they're doing. Maybe that's going to turn out to be a good thing. Maybe not.
I want to be surprised. I want something good.
Yep.
So,
If they bring back Bortus's mustache, I'll be fine.
absolutely.
Yeah. I am looking forward to the Orville coming back on the air. That'll be good. I really am. So.
All right, fellas. I think I'm out.
All right, man. You going to the post office?
No, it's Sunday, dude.
Well, there you have it. Another episode in the can. Check us out at trekcast.com. Also, if you would, please subscribe to us via iTunes. Leave those reviews, subscribe to us. We get some numbers, get up the list, get more listeners, do more shows, have more fun. But for now, we're all done. So live long and prosper, and we'll see you next week.